we're like ringing out, and I just hear Adam. He's like, "Yo, what's up? We're WITHDRAWAL. We're a pro-abortion, anti-Christian band," and that band stood for a lot of that. And I was just like jaw dropped, like holy shit. But he did it all just to kind of like he looked back at me. He was just like,
"All right, let's go."
That's me being me, right?
Yeah. No. We'll shout out Fiji for this episode. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for checking back with us. This is the Scoped Exposure podcast. I'm super excited to be sitting down with Cody.
Hell yeah.
How are you?
Good. Tired, but good.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have a ton to chew on this episode, so we're just going to jump right into it. But maybe for the, 4.5 people who are watching or listening who don't know who you are, could you give just a little intro of who you are and I guess what you're involved in the hardcore scene here in Calgary?
My name's Cody of SERRATION. I don't know. Been going to local hardcore shows now for 15, 16 years. Been in numerous amount of bands, Calgary, Winnipeg, tattooer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like my life in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I was kind of doing research for this podcast, I went back in time and there was it seemed like there was always photos of you at a show, playing at a show. I actually didn't know that you played bass for a time.
Yeah, I played in Raincore, this band called Raincore, and it was a bunch of the guys that, some of them don't go to shows that often anymore, but at the time they were kind of putting together a band, and Jay and I, when we first started getting into tattooing and stuff like that, we worked with each other, and I was like, "Do you guys have a bass player?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Fuck, I just want to be in a band."
Right.
And he's like, "Well, do you play bass?" And I was like, "No." So he's like, "Okay." So yeah, we went to practice, and Neil was just like, "Can you do this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." When I was 7 or grade 7, I used to play guitar. Right. So I was like, if I can figure guitar out, I can figure bass out.
Right.
So
just less strings.
Yeah. And I was just like, I just want to be in a band.
Yeah.
That was my whole thing. Yeah.
Was that the very first band?
No. The first band I was in, I was 15. I played drums.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was just I think we played one cool show back in the day. And I don't even want to say it was as far as cool goes, just the amount of people. Mm-hmm. But if anybody remembers who played Olivia, the Riviera Heist, Danger Boys, Calgary Royalty at the time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Deep Cuts.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we'll touch on maybe some of the earlier bands and then maybe transition to some of the more current stuff that you're doing right now. But how did you, for as long as I've known you, drumming has been the instrument of your choice. So that's why it was surprising for when I was doing my research. I'm like, what do you slap the bass for a little while? So maybe talk about how you got into drumming and how that propelled you into some of the bands that you're playing in now and maybe some of the past ones as well.
So yeah, like I said, I played guitar first, and a buddy of mine at the time, he started playing guitar and his dad played, so he got to pick up things so much easier and was learning songs every week, and I was just so frustrated with it. And then it kind of got to the point where I was just like, fuck this. And I just asked my mom, I was like, how would you be cool with me having a drum set? And she'd be like, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. So I bought the shittiest drum set you could possibly buy. It was so bad, but it was something. And I just started doing that, and then started a band with a bunch of friends at school, and just played talent shows, played Norma Jean and shit I don't know how we got away with it, but played stuff like that. That's and cool. Then and then so from doing that, being in from one band to the other, the first one, it was just a bunch of friends. I don't think they do anything with music anymore, but one thing left to another, just going to hardcore shows over and over and over, and people seeing that I played drums. Just playing drums in War Elephant, and then that led to I think my next biggest thing was just joining WITHDRAWAL. Mm-hmm. And that kind of happened just because I was talking to Adam one day, and I was like, I play drums, and he was like, oh, okay, well, I'll keep that on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And then because
the podcast that's coming out like tomorrow, as the time of recording this, is the one with Adam, and we talked about like the past and present like members of the band, and he was mentioning that when you were in it, it was like a great thing for you because you got to play that style of music, but as far as like the sustainability of it, you know, you living here and the band being in Winnipeg, he was like, I think it was good for Cody because he just got to come and play these shows, and then it was like he could kind of bounce whenever he wanted to.
True, yeah. I mean, it was kind of like touring with them was the very first time I ever toured, so that was a huge experience. I don't know what stories he told you, but I could tell you so many ridiculous stories as well.
Right.
Just single-handedly being in that band. But no, it didn't work out, I would say. Yeah, basically because I'm here, they're in Winnipeg, and they're coming down to the point where they needed to like put out a full length, right? So Adam shot me a message, and he was just kind of like, hey man, how would you feel about if Jeff did the recording? And I was just like, I mean, I was bummed out. And because I did like a bunch of I think there's like 3 or 4 songs like I demoed, and I was just like, fuck. But I get it.
There's a plethora of like with unreleased withdrawal music.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
yeah. But like I didn't want to hold them back for like my own sake, right? Like I didn't want to be like, well, I thought I was the fuking drummer. You know what I mean? So I was just like, yeah, man, you guys been sitting on all these songs for years and years and years. Like, do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was just like, damn it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, because like even after that, since like anytime Withdrawal was coming through town, like you were like right up front, like grabbing the mic, and like, you know, those are like really close homies of you. Oh yeah. So like obviously like there's no like hard feelings or anything.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But that being said, fuck Adam.
Well, it's funny. I'm excited for you to actually listen to it because like I thought there was gonna be some like low key like not like just some like beefing on one another, but he was like. Because we recorded it a few months ago, so he's like, "Yeah, my buddy. I was thinking about my buddy Cody. He's in the UK right now. I'm super proud of him."
Yeah.
And so I was like, all it took to like dispel some of this resentment is getting you on a podcast.
Because because at the same time when I was at Withdrawal, I was in another band called War Elephant, just like a local band here, and then Withdrawal was kind of just taking like I think we came back from a tour. We're taking a bit of a break, and then War Elephant was writing a bunch of new stuff, and I was like so inspired just by like the like intensity of like how like Withdrawal plays and shit like that. Right. So I just started like just going for it with War Elephant. I mean, War Elephant was already pretty fast and like D beat and weird shit, but and then that kind of carried on to like Mortality Rate, and then as far as you hear, like when you listen to Withdrawal, like all the beats and stuff like that are kind of the same. You know what I mean? Just fast, yeah.
So you were doing stuff with Withdrawal before Mortality Rate, or was there some crossover time?
No, I was never in the same to both bands at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if no one's ever heard your drumming before, the best way that I could characterize it is like a submachine gun going off.
Yeah, I try to play fast.
Yeah. So was that like, what was your? Because another podcast that we've done is like. With Mitch from Low End, and he talked a lot about like staying in the pocket, not like trying to flex as a drummer.
Yeah,
and I really see that with your style.
Yeah, like I used to be so bad with doing too many fills, and it just kind of gets messy sometimes, like especially if you're just doing like a D beat, and it doesn't need to be fancy, and like you just get carried away with doing fills. Like there's a video somebody filmed of us playing Lethbridge, and I'm watching it, and I'm just like, why am I doing so much? Right. When it's just like do da do da do da do da. You know what I mean? I'm just like, it just sounds so much easier. It sounds cleaner. But yeah, I've kind of dialed back a bit as far as like doing all that stuff. I mean, I still do it because it's fun, but at the same time, like I'm nervous.
Tastefully versus in every like fill section.
Totally, and it's just like I'm nervous every time I play a show. Doesn't matter if it's in front of one person or like a bunch of people.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
But it's just like one of those things that's like I'm nervous like until I get up there and then ringing out and then count it. And then I'm go. Yeah. And then I'm good. But there's some times where like we're playing and I know there's a fill coming up. I'm like, fuck, I got to hit this. And if I don't, like, I'm always so nervous that like my stick will hit like the rack tom or something like that, so I've just kind of like learned to dial it back. But I say this now, and then like the next time I record a song, it'll be like some crazy fill or something. Yeah. But yeah.
Cool. So just on the topic of drums, like probably the two bands that people would best know you for is Mortality Rate and Serration. And one thing that I wanted to kind of ask you is Serration has a very like big drum footprint as far as like matching the craziness of the music. So, well, maybe we can like take a step back even and just say like how you joining that band came to be, because they're like, at least when the band first started, majority of the members were all in Edmonton, and you were the only Calgary one. Now Jake's in the band, so now it's like, you know, a 60-40 split. So can you kind of give the story behind that?
So yeah, all those guys, they were in a band, Self Harm, and that band kind of like dismantled, and then so they started their own little project, like, which is like Serration now. But I saw Coulter post a video on his story or something like that of them jamming, and it was like old Serration stuff, and I was like, oh shit, if you guys don't have a vocalist, like I want to do vocals in a band. And then he was like, oh man, like Colton, who did vocals in Times Tide. He's like, he's the vocalist. And he was just like, I wish you would have asked us like a week ago. But I obviously didn't know that they had a band going. And then I was like, okay, well, if anything happens, like just let me know, right? And I think it was maybe about 2 weeks later, and he was like, yo, you still want to do vocals? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'm so down. And he's like, okay, well, you're in. And then he sent me all the songs off of Shrine, like our first like,
the first
tape,
EP,
so he sent me all those, like it was all like basement recordings, like not even just like a camera of them playing the songs, so I had to write lyrics to all that. And they had not heard me what I like sounded like. They have no idea at this point. I mean, there's like some, I think, I do intro stuff on Sleep Deprivation, like that's my voice in there, like with Jess, but other than that, they had no idea until
not like under a mic kind of examples to at least sing to them.
I haven't jammed with them at all. So when I went to the studio to record, every time it was done, I would send them something, and they'd just be like, "Holy fuck!" Like, thank God. Even I was like that, right? So
they kind of put a lot of faith in just like making sure it was gonna work.
Totally. And like when I found out like Colin was doing it, I was just like, that's weird. Like his style, like when I picture his style, I don't really see it in like the Serration style, but he left because I guess it was just like he couldn't vibe with it or something like that, which is fair. Like if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it.
That's because I remember when I first moved here, I think the very first show I filmed was the Trapped Under Ice gig at Dickens, and I remember that you grabbed, like, I've seen you like grab the mic at a couple times, and it's been like, man, Cody's got the vocals, and that's always an interesting thing when, you're at a show and you know someone's just caught up in the moment and just grabs the mic and does something.
I think that might have just been my sad attempt at a stout impersonation.
Oh, I see.
Who knows, it's been a while since I've seen that, but but I know what you're talking about.
So you did that original recording, and then it was like, okay, like let's just hit the ground running with the band.
Kind of, so we recorded that, and like people loved it. And then after that, I think that came out in the winter time or the beginning of 2018.
Yeah, I believe it was right at the beginning of the year because you guys played. You're like,
our first show was because there was the two Evan benefit shows
with Vamakara.
Well, and we played the Edmonton show, and then our first Calgary show was the following month.
No, didn't you play the Calgary one as well?
No, we didn't play the Calgary one. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different show.
But we played that one with. Oh, who would play that Calgary show? I don't know.
Was that the one with Meantime, Spirit of Vengeance, Glare?
Yeah, and I think Setback was on it as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's one.
Yeah.
It's very weird for me because I film all these shows, like I just have folders on my computer, so I can like I'm so visually like that's how I remember stuff. So I can be like, okay, this is the date, and then these are the bands we're playing. Yeah, I could probably like do a rough attempt at like 2018 WITHDRAWAL.
Totally.
Like, okay, Pure Heaven, Your Problem.
Yeah, like I can't remember like who was on this fest, but I could go back and think of like dumb ridiculous stories with Withdrawal from 2012.
Right.
Yeah, it's not saying one's like more priority than the other, but it's just like here's a bunch of bands crammed into one section compared to what is Adam saying today. Yeah.
what's one of the most ridiculous things that you heard Adam? Because I know that he's been like known for just having the silliest mosh calls. More so because, well, you know Brent McCrae, I'm guessing. He did a lot of the early Withdrawal recordings.
No, I don't think I know him.
Oh, okay. Well, we played in a band together, but he, when I was like first getting into the hardcore scene, we were hanging out and he was showing me like early like 1920 like live recordings he did. And I think the thing that I was like, I need to pay attention to Adam was there was one show and his mosh call was like, the time is now, don't you fucking let me down or something.
Oh yeah. No, that makes sense.
But yeah, is there any that are like,
as far as like mosh call goes,
or just anything ridiculous?
I remember we played Mazfest at Mazfest. So that was in Saskatoon, right? Yeah. And there was a band. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I guess they were outside and they were doing like a prayer circle, like right before their show. And I was at the merch table with Adam, and Joel comes around the corner, and he was like, "You're not gonna believe what I just fucking saw." And then Adam's like, "Oh, I'm gonna nuke them, right?" And then so
I'm gonna nuke them.
And then
AC 150.
So yeah, we're like ringing out, and so it was kind of weird how it was set up, but they're maybe 10 feet from us.
Okay.
And we're like ringing out, and I just hear Adam. He's like, "Yo, what's up? We're Withdrawal. We're a pro-abortion, anti-Christian band." And that band stood for a lot of that, and I was just like jaw dropped, like holy shit. But he did it all just to kind of like, he looked back at me, he was just like,
all right, let's go.
That's me being me, right?
Yeah. Adam's a very unapologetic miserablest, as he's told me. So just to quickly kind of like wrap up on the Serration bit, because you guys like really have taken off in the last like 2 years of being a band. Put out like 3 like releases since then. And you guys just got back from like a tour in the States with WRHC's Razor, and just even a little while ago did the UK. So just talk to me about like those 2 tours and just like those giant opportunities that you guys have had, and how that's kind of like shifted the visibility of the band and the overall scene.
So it kind of all started. Coulter went over to Scotland to like be with family, like just he was just there on vacation, and he kind of like stumbled into I believe it was like a tattoo shop, and then they were like, "Yo, if you're into hardcore, come to the show." And I guess there was some like bands playing, and he kind of just like, he was like, "Yo, what's up? I'm Coulter. I live in Calgary or Edmonton, and I play in this band." And they're like, "Oh shit, like we've heard of Serration." And it kind of like led from one thing to another. Like, hey, if you guys want to come over here, like to the UK and play shows, we could all set it up. And then that kind of, we told Jess about it, and then she was like, shit, I was kind of hoping Mortality Rate would go out and do the tour around that time. And we're just like, okay, well, Jess is like, we're all in the same band for the most part. Like me, Jake are both in both bands, and so we're like, why don't we just do both bands at the same time?
Right.
And that's how that kind of came to be. But we didn't do the whole thing, unfortunately, because I think some people couldn't stay for as long as they could.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like Derek couldn't do the tour, so we had Matt fill in on bass. So yeah, it was like 6 people in the whole van the whole time. It was
it was essentially like Serration and Jess.
Yeah, basically,
which was cool to kind of make it happen. Yeah, that's awesome.
But no, it was.
What was like the best show, if there's anyone like listening from the UK, which is probably like one person
for the Serration stuff?
For either
like Glasgow was awesome. Yeah, those like that city really holds it down. Another sweet show would have been Paris. Was pretty cool. Like that was cool to like actually say that we played Paris.
Right.
What else did we play? That was like, I mean, there's quite a few of them. There was somewhere we were just kind of like, what the fuck are we? Where are we?
Yeah.
Did
we feel like very out of your element, just like the differences of culture out there?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No. What else? It was pretty chill. The only difference was like different languages.
Yeah.
But you're just kind of like, I mean, everybody kind of down there tries their best if they can, or we'll kind of try our sad attempt at speaking with them, or just like breaking the Like, if like we're playing in Germany or something like that, we'll kind of like, I'll try and pronounce things as simple as possible.
Sure.
Instead of like speaking super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just try to make sure everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah. Did you find that there was people who were like, I started listening to you guys like when you put out like sleep deprivation or something? Or was it just like, oh, I just saw a band from Canada was coming down and I thought that was sick?
A little bit of both. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people knew the lyrics, which was super cool. Like coming that far.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You're like
so I was just
on
like,
the other
holy
side
shit.
of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as far as like the wrist one goes, yeah, Jake shot the group message, message chat, up and was just like, yo, do you guys want to tour with wrist? And we're like, when? And it was like November, which is ridiculous for a band being from where we are to tour in November.
Yeah.
And then into December. So yeah, even like while we were driving down there, we're like, fuck, just in case of like a snowstorm, like we could never risk this again. Cause driving through all of Montana just to meet up with them in Minneapolis and then like obviously North Dakota, but like we lucked out.
Yeah.
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 But
it's so like even just having like the 2-year anniversary, I thought we were outside of that like snow window, and then it snowed that day.
Yeah.
So it's like
you never know here.
Yeah.
It's So
especially in Calgary, like I found that, there's so much fluctuation with just like how things are with the mountains.
Yeah.
Like it will just come and then it will be gone. Like it
with
snowed
the Chinooks and stuff. Yeah.
and then it melted and then it was back within like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah. Like last year with like Judas here is supposed to roll through. Like we got dumped on that day.
Right.
And then 2 days later it was gone.
I know.
Like the show didn't even happen because it was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, yeah. And that was early October. Because I remember it was not too far after the Vane show.
Yeah, I think the Vane show was like late September. Yeah, maybe it was October because I'm like, it was either late October or early November. But yeah, that was like even just driving like 20 minutes from my house, it was just like, what's going on? Yeah, it's insane. So speaking of just like Calgary hardcore in general, something that you're greatly involved in here is like the WRHC Hardcore Fest. And since I've been filming it, it's changed a lot over the years. So maybe you can, at first, let's do just some history because, like you've been going to that fest when it was under different names and in different cities. So maybe you can give some context for people who might not know the history and how long it's been going for.
So yeah, like it started like years and years and years and years ago. It was a fest in Lethbridge originally. It was called Three Cities. Basically just Calgary, Edmonton, Lethbridge. But there were, I think, a band from Saskatoon played one time. So that kind of started it. And then there was another one, I think, the following year where I think Withdrawal played. I can't remember the name of it. It might have been the same thing. But that kind of laid low for about 3 years where nothing kind of happened after that. And then it kind of got picked up again, which with at Distortion. I don't know if you went to that one.
Yep. Yeah. The 2016 one?
Yeah. So it got picked up again. And with like, at that point, I had nothing to do with it still.
That year was Take Offense,
and Zabalba.
And Zabalba,
yeah.
And there was like a lot of, like, I call that like the Winnipeg Hardcore Invasion year. Cause Withdrawal, Ill-Fated, Usurper, Penalty, rest in peace, and a bunch of other bands. They actually, sorry, I'm like kind of going off on some tangents. I remember Penalty opened with an Act Fast cover. And everyone was just going off. Yeah. And I had no idea who that band was, so I like had to go home. I'm like, okay, I know this isn't a Penalty song. But all these Calgary people are going off. So yeah, that was the 2016 year. And then the next year, it was still at Distortion.
So yeah, after that, I was just like, okay, well, I want to see if I can somehow get involved in this, because just from like touring and stuff like that, I was like, okay, well, I know some people in some bands, so I'll see if I can hit them up and fingers crossed they can play. So I got involved. Evan got involved. I'm not too sure if Nathaniel did yet, but so for the most part, then so we were shooting like bands back and forth, and like, oh, I think this band can play and this band can play. But yeah, I think that one ended up being, I mean, backing up a little bit, like doing this, like this is the first time I've ever, I mean, I've helped out put on shows and stuff in the past, but I've never been like the promoter.
Sure. Yeah.
So now I kind of finally see how it is for bands to feel the stress of, you know, is this band going to show up or not?
Right. Yeah.
But hearing back from bands, like I get it. Like, oh, can you guys play? And then one person will be like, yeah, for sure. Let me talk to the band. I'll hit you up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks goes by and it's just like, yeah, I'm still waiting for our bass player. Fuck. So, I think that year, oh yeah, so I remember hitting up Power Trip, I believe.
And for like the 2017 one?
Yeah, for the 2017 one. And, or was it? Yeah, it was 2017. And back and forth with their guy. And I mean, it had nothing to do with him, but like I'm sure he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be like, hey man, like, would Power Trip be down to play? And he's like, hold on, I'll let him know, or I'll ask him. And weeks went by, and we never heard anything. So we like bitter end like came up, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And we were like, oh shit, okay. So I haven't heard from these guys. And then Power Trip's guy got back to me, and he was like, are we doing this? And I was like, oh man, I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks. And I was just like, oh shit, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know who's supposed to message you, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure the guy is just so busy. He's just, yeah.
Like anyone could go back in time and look at how, like, especially a band like that, like, touring all the time.
Yeah. Like probably like at this point, I don't want to say full-time jobs, but I'm sure that takes up, 60%, 70% of their year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure that guy's got, at that point, the last thing he needs to worry about is a little fest up north, right?
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I would definitely hit him up again and see if they wanted to play, but...
yeah, and I'm sure, like, anyone who books shows or, manages bands can attest to just, like, the level of... the crazy level of logistics that goes into, like, figuring out, like, okay... they're going to go on this tour, and then they have like 3 days, and then there's this other thing, and then there's this fly-in thing.
Yeah, we're like, we have a band this year. We literally have to do that.
Yeah.
Like we have to bring them in from somewhere and then take them to their next, like.
Oh, really?
And well, that's how it was last year with All Out War as well. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why they played the first day is because they had a show. They played Saturday. I think they had a show Monday in New York.
Oh, wow.
So I was just like, I was talking to their booking agent. I was like, okay, well, we can bring them in Saturday morning and I'll fly them out first thing Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So, and I think they got home like Sunday night. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was like, if they can make it work, we can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, we're all like, the four of us that do it now, we'll bend over backwards to try and get bands to come up here. Because I mean, like, bands do, but it's not as often as we, hope for, because we're not, people that, like, Vancouver gets it easy because Seattle's right there.
Right.
So
you have to be a little bit more pot committed to make your way over here.
Totally. And there's some bands that are like, totally, like, we'll drive up. And it's just like, holy shit, thank you. Right. Yeah. Like, there's a couple that we've asked, and they're like, they haven't even brought up, like, oh, so how are we getting there? It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got your license?
Yeah. And maybe we can chat about, because I remember when you guys were like teasing the 2019 lineup, you were mentioning on how, there was a plethora of bands from like the, Western Canada space that, either played the main shows or the pre-shows. Mm-hmm. But you guys really, I think, in the 4 years that I've been filming it, I've really seen an increase of the amount of like international bands, if you will. So was that like when the core team, who's like you, Jay, Curtis, and Nathaniel, am I missing anyone?
No, that's, yeah.
Okay, yeah. When that was like kind of established, kind of within the last couple of years, were you guys just like wanting to make that bigger investment to bring in bigger bands so that, the name of the fest kind of grew? Or was that kind of
was kind of the thing. Like, the whole thing is, like, showing bands that there is a scene here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And be kind of just like giving the kids kind of what they want. Like, I want to see these bands. I know, everybody wants to see some of these bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, the US has like their big fest, like Sound and Fury. This is hardcore. What else is there? There's like FYA.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to make, Wild Rose, like, a fest. So when people do hear and when we do ask bands or promoters, we're like, does so and so want to play Wild Rose? And they're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like I'll let them know, not just kind of like, here's our little thing.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll want to do it in front of, let's say if it was a small fest and in front of 70 people, they'd be like, not a chance.
Right.
Yeah. So our whole thing is just try to make the community, show bands that there are people here, and show off some of the things that we have to offer as well. So that's like last year, like, you guys filming it and like bringing Hate 56 out.
Yeah.
It's just like try and show everybody that we got bands here and that there is a scene and it's worthy of.
And there's things that they can kind of take home with them.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like last year, Sonny, like when we were talking to him, he was pumped on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, it's just like, it's great to hear things like that. And like bands like King 9, they're like, this was so sick. Yeah. And we did our very best to like make people and feel as welcome as they possibly could. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was thinking about this yesterday when I was kind of planning for the podcast, but it's also like in this kind of like Pacific Northwest area of the hardcore, I guess, like North American community, there's not as many festivals that happen up here anymore. Like, Rainfest was obviously like a big one that people were going to, and now that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Like
DPK had their thing.
Yeah. Even
I'm sure I'm not too sure about it. They might bring it back.
I remember, like, I think it was after Comeback Kid Play, I was like talking to Taylor Nolan, like, yo, thanks for, bringing me out. Like, are you going to do 6 shows for the 6th year? He's like, fuck no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, they dived in pretty heavy. And it was awesome. It was an awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was insane. Those days were pretty crazy, especially just for like, because I would like literally film from like 12 in the afternoon to like 12 at night. Like, okay, this show's over, go downstairs in the Biltmore and continue filming. But yeah, it was like, that's the thing that I've learned is like, like I can look at our analytics and just see how like certain festivals are, just little spikes because there's bigger bands that are playing those. So more eyes will get on our channel. And it's just nice to capture like 30 sets in like 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
Can use those. Who was your kind of favorite, or because All Out War was like kind of the one band that was, I think, more hyped as far as like announcement wise than maybe the others. Yeah. Was that one of your most proudest bands?
Yeah, I mean, that's a band that wouldn't think that would ever come out here.
Right.
So when I had the opportunity to reach out and ask for it, that's why we kind of separated that announcement. Yeah. Because it's just like, holy shit, while All Out War is playing Calgary, which, they've been a band for, forever. Yeah. And so it's just like, why not now? Yeah. So yeah, that was a pretty cool thing to see. But yeah, even bands like, bringing Wrist Out and Sea Space Cowboy, I know that definitely turned some people's heads.
Oh, for sure.
And I was just like, these are the bands that I like to see. And the offer that we got for them, like I was asking about a completely different band, and then their booking agent was like, well, these 2 bands are coming through, and I was like, this is perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like,
so was that tour like planned around the fest, or was it kind of already in the works? And then
they already had their whole thing coming. Like if fest wouldn't have happened, those 2 bands would have come through anyways. Oh, yeah. Wow. So it landed up perfectly. Yeah.
That's very cool. What do you think was like the biggest thing that you or maybe the Wild Rose team learned as far as just like, because I always know that like the scoped machine always gets better like the more that we're doing it. Yeah. Especially like, like in the early years, like I was looking back at some of the videos I've done, I'm like, man, this is so bad. Yeah. So what are the things that I guess like the lessons that you've learned, either certain bands or how to ask certain booking agents? Yeah. Anything that you can share?
Well, yeah, something we definitely learned was, I mean, not this year, but like last year when it was just myself, Evan, and Nathaniel, I think we started getting on it in like September. Right. And then started kind of getting the ball rolling in like December. I mean, at that point, like Evan was no longer with us, but like now then we had Curtis. Mm-hmm. So we're like, at that point, I don't think we announced it till like March. Like the first announcement was like in March. Yeah. That's because like we were waiting for some bands to get back to us. So one of our biggest things was like right after the fest, like take a little bit, like a week or a month off, and then get right back to it. Yeah. So we could just start firing out like all these like messages to bands, so we're not, crunch time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just like I can't control what bands do as far as, you know, like, oh, I need an answer by Tuesday. What's today? Like Sunday, right? Like, so yeah, that was definitely one thing that we kind of wanted to make sure that we kind of got the ball rolling as soon as possible. And even like to this point now, we're still waiting for bands, but we're like pretty close. So, other things that there was like 2018, like the room was super big.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like last year we brought in with like the curtains just to kind of like push more people in.
Right.
Instead of having people.
And I thought that was a very smart move.
Yeah. Just like little things like that, like push more people towards the stage.
Right.
So you don't have like, you know, there's 200 people on the floor making, you know what I mean? It's kind of scattered, and there's another 7,500 people like out by the merge tables. So that's why we kind of brought all of that in. That was one thing. Another, I don't know, like having the big banner, just like self-promotion, stuff like that.
I remember when we were like setting up on the first day, this year I was wanting to get like that like 2-stage cam. And I was talking with Jay about like where we could place it, and then he saw, he's like, "Oh man, this looks so good with the banner." Like, okay, you guys just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's just like little things like that. I'm sure like next year we're gonna be like, "Oh, let's do this," or "Let's not do that anymore." Like, I think this year we might we're getting staff, like for more drivers to like pick up people,
right?
Stuff like that. Because last year Curtis did a lot of that, and he missed bands because of that.
Oh, okay.
So I know this year he wants like a few drivers just to like take people to the places where they need to stay and stuff like that. We'll probably get like a couple people just to do security just in case. Yeah, other than that, like we're keeping it pretty, like it'll be the same. Like if you're just like a normal kid, like just coming in, you're not going to be like, "Oh, what?" Or like, let's say if you've gone the last 3 years, you're not going to be like, "Wow, they've really changed." It's going to be like, "Oh, there's a guy over there making sure people don't go back to some room where they're not supposed to be."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, just simple stuff like that.
Is there anything about the 2020 Fest that you can like tease? Obviously, you probably can't share bands we're playing, but there like venue changes or
venue's still the same?
Okay,
venue's still the same. This year, like obviously for the prior years, it's been like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Mm-hmm. I mean, last year Sunday would have been Mother's Day, so that's why we didn't do it on the Sunday. This year it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like the pre-show's on the Friday. I think we're doing the. It's not going to be at the where it was last year for the pre. It's not going to be there this year. But other than that, like as far as bands go, like I can't really say what bands. I mean, you'll get like the classics, like as far as like local bands go. We'll try and bring out like, we'll like sort of like that. But I mean, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Excited.
It's pretty excited.
And maybe because I know that there's like. It's kind of interesting, at least for me, because we've, you know, like to break any like not miscommunications, but some like a lot of people have like thought that we were like directly associated with Wild Rose just because we were filming it, which isn't the case. So I would get like DM after DM about like, hey, like, can we play Wild Rose? I'm like, well, talk to them, like they'll talk to me. But like that was something that I even thought prior was like, you know, like there's, I guess in the past there would be like some festivals who would do like, you know, like applications or things like that. Maybe that's like a little bit older. I know like MazFest did that for like the longest time.
And that's like kind of one thing that we brought up is because after this, like as soon as the year was over last year, a bunch of bands started asking if they could play, and we're kind of just like, nah. You know, it has nothing to do with them. It's just like we're all like four picky guys, and it's like we know what people want to see.
Right.
We know what we want to see.
Yeah. But you were still like, at least this year, I noticed that you guys were like doing the call outs on like the Instagram, be like, who do you want to see?
Yeah.
So it's not just like, oh, I'm only picking the bands that like I know that people want to see, like trying to remove the bias and be like, oh yeah, I didn't think about asking so and so.
Oh yeah, like there's some bands it's just like not really my forte, but it's like I know a bunch of kids will love it, and if it was my fest, it would just be like all dark and scary bands, which is, I mean, you know what I mean. Yeah. But you know, there's some like, for lack of a better term, like hype bands or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, like there's some cool bands that are playing, but yeah, like I think this year, as far as bands go, all of them, except for like the locals and stuff, I don't think any bands played the fest yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's no like
There's no
big
repeaters.
returners.
There's no.
okay.
Yeah.
Was that like we will never have like,
No.
repeaters or just
No,
like,
no. That was just kind of like, let's just do something new this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
cool.
I'm sure like some band for next year will get asked again to play.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to the dates for 2020 in case someone's listening or watching is April
5th and 26th.
25th and 26th, and then the 24th is the
Pre-show. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, and I think the videos that we've produced and even Sunny as well like showcase like how awesome of the scene is here. So it's definitely worth making the trip out. Do you guys have a set time of when you're going to be dropping like announcements?
It'll be early January.
Early January. So,
It'll be like the first announcement. Yeah.
yeah, and people can keep up with that by going on the WITHDRAWAL Hardcore.
I think we'll
Instagram?
probably make like an announcement like when we'll put it out.
Gotcha.
Like we'll make it like a flyer and just be like, here it comes.
Yeah.
And then we'll just drop
Here
it on
it
everybody.
comes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll just drop it on everybody.
Yeah. You were mentioning earlier about like if the fest was if it was like the Cody of SERRATION fest, it would be like a lot different as far as like being a little spooky and dark. I know that you're like a huge Slipknot fan.
Yeah.
And wanted to, I guess, get your opinions on a couple Slipknot things.
Okay.
But I think context is super important. So like, what was the seed for your love of Slipknot? Like how did that get planted?
I remember going to school. Like I think it was in grade 5, and I was getting ready to go to school, and I think Much Music was on TV, and one of their music videos came on, and I was just like, holy shit. And yeah, after that, I was just like, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Like it was that easy.
Yeah, I think that's like, I think it was kind of the same for me. I think I just saw the Duality music video
a little later. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little later for me, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was like earlier stuff for you, like first record.
Like right out the gate. Yeah, in grade 5, and I remember going to buy the CD in stores, and it had like the little parental advisory sticker on it. I remember like showing my dad, and be like, "Oh, they don't cuss that much." Yeah, just so I could get the CD.
Yeah,
and he was just like, "I don't care."
Yeah, that's so funny. I saw once that you commented on a Facebook post that there was like no bad Slipknot records.
I said that?
I think you said that.
Oh, that definitely wasn't me.
Okay. Because I had like a little segment I wanted to do where it was like each Slipknot record, and I wanted to give your like 2 cents.
Okay.
If it's like, if it's like a passer, like Rocket or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Sure.
I'm sure people at home are probably or watching this are gonna be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be like, but that's kind of the thing where it's like quality is subjective.
Totally. Yeah.
So,
like my opinion might match up with some other people. Some people might be
Right.
like, this kid's an ass.
Yeah. But I think it's pretty timely though, because like they just put out their newest record. Like,
Yeah.
What, a couple weeks ago? Or
Like
maybe
August, I think.
Oh yeah, maybe it was
or October. It was something. Yeah,
something like that.
I think it was August.
So yeah, this just started at the beginning, self-titled, like the demo.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but I'd say it's probably my second favorite.
Oh okay.
Yeah. It's amazing.
What's your favorite track off of that?
Favorite track? I'd say Prosthetics or Surfacing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just like rifle through, even if you want to give like the one word of like, when I think of this record, I think of this.
Totally.
Iowa.
The best.
The best.
The best.
Yeah.
The darkest. It's awesome.
Yeah. Volume 3.
I'd probably put that in there. Maybe like my third or tied for third record. It's definitely like very experimental record as far as sound goes.
Yeah.
But they definitely laid back on like the heaviness compared to Iowa.
Yeah.
But that's why I like Volume 3 is because all the weird noises and shit like
Right. All Hope Is Gone.
that. The A side's pretty sweet. It's all right. I like it. But the
They
B side,
like put all the good stuff at the beginning.
that's what I can. Yeah, there's some
Mess it
stuff
up.
on it that where I'm just like, what the fuck.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people love it. There's some on it I'm just like, next.
Great chapter.
Great chapter. Love it. Don't hate it. Don't love it. Yeah.
So we're in the middle.
Kind of in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. And then have you like? Because I always find that I need like a couple like thorough listens of a front to back record to like really know
how I think about it, right?
Yeah, because some stuff it's like right off the bat it's like, okay, you got me.
Totally.
But then sometimes I'm like listening to it on repeat, like I have to understand what you thought.
Yeah, because you're so involved, like you're so used to listening to the old stuff.
For sure.
Now you got to listen to this record. Yeah.
So the newest record.
I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it. That's what the one I'd probably tie for third as far as like yeah. Just because like I love weird sounds and stuff like that in music or like heavy music.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have like the intensity that like Iowa and Self-Titled have, but I could definitely see that there's some parts where I'm just like, holy shit.
Right.
And like since like their drummer like Jay came aboard, like if you like hear like his two steps or like his like do da, like that's where a lot of Mortality Rate like.
Oh yeah, now I hear that.
Yeah,
say that. Yeah.
So when I do that, like that's where I got my, like I just call them caveman two steps because they're so straightforward.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where I take that from. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you influence a lot of your drumming from Slipknot stuff?
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I can't really say like blast beats because blast beats come from so many other bands.
For sure.
But like when I think of like that kind of like style of like the two step or whatever, that's what I think of. Yeah. Of like the way he plays them.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Slipknot member?
It's weird. Like I'd probably say like
past or present, I guess, if that helps.
It's weird. Like I'd probably say like Sid, like the DJ. Yeah. I don't even know like I had nothing to do with turntables or anything like that. But I just remember being a kid being like, this guy's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And like that's probably where I grab it. Like went towards that. But I mean like the classics like Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
Like that's if like on the Serration record I have like my buddy John Pettibone doing vocals, which is like when I asked him and he said yes, I was like, holy shit. Like I love that band growing up. And so like I mean it'd be him and like if I could get Corey Taylor on a song. Which I mean like when Code Orange did that, I was like that's insane. The coolest shit ever. Yeah. So I mean there's that and then I mean I don't have like a least favorite member. They're all cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree with you though. Like Sid was one of my favorites, more so because I knew the least about him.
Yeah.
Because he was just kind of that odd, like he either didn't say anything or he would just like say,
or he won't shut up.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
I think we did an episode with Dom from Pitch Black, and we were talking about Slipknot, and we were talking about his like mask, and I think not the current one that he has, but
the Transformer mask.
Yeah, where his eyebrows
move
up and down.
Yeah.
It was like really cool. And then the one other thing I want to ask you, because I feel like there's an interesting story behind, is you got Corey Taylor to give you a birthday shout out.
Yeah.
So first off, how did that come to be?
So my ex, she knows him.
Okay.
And like she knows how much of a like fan I was, and she was like a fan of Slipknot, and she was asking me, she was like, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, I don't know. Like, you know what I like, right? And she's like, okay. And then so she was, I think it was like a few days before my birthday. She showed me it, and I was just like, what the fuck? And he doesn't do that for anybody. I think at one point, like his Twitter was like, happy birthday something. Because so many people will ask him to do like, give my, nephew or son a shout out.
Yeah.
And he just, if you do it for one, he doesn't for all.
Yeah. So he doesn't have a cameo or anything?
No, he wouldn't do that. From like what she's told me. So when he went out of his way to do that for me, I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool. I think I'm pretty like notorious for deleting shit off my phone. Like I think I have like 200 photos on my phone.
Yeah.
I'll never delete that. Yeah. I'll be like 65 years old looking at a picture or video of Corey Taylor saying happy birthday.
Have you like gone to chat with him at all since then?
No.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would fucking say.
Hi.
I'd be like, hi.
That's awesome. Something came to mind there and it just blanked on me. Slipknot is sick.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever do a Slipknot cover? Or has that been discussed?
It's kind of been like talked about. I don't think we would do it just because like, I don't mean like it's one of those things where if you play it bad, like it's gonna be
sure.
And it's like you kind of need all those elements to make it work.
Yeah, and then it looks like oh, you're the band that brought all these floor toms to the gig just so you
Yeah,
can
I mean, like
play
if like
something
I know a couple guys up in Edmonton did it for like a Halloween thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, okay, cool. They
Yeah,
do
that
it like
makes
that.
sense.
But I mean, to cover a song, I mean, if you want to cover it, cover it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But for us, we'd just be like, let's just cover a band that has 5 members in it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, we've been going for almost 50 minutes here, and we haven't touched on a very vital and key part of you, which is your tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like, give some, like, is that something that you've always wanted to do? Was going to shows kind of an influence of, like, that culture as far as, like, seeing other people with tattoos?
Kinda. I grew up, like, my dad and my grandma like painted and drew a lot.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of motivated me to like get into drawing, because I'd ask them at like 6, like, oh, draw me a picture, and they'd be like, no, you draw it, just to kind of like get me going, right? And then I'd say probably around grade 10 or 11, I kind of wanted to like, I was like, okay, I think I know what I want to do.
Right.
And I didn't even know if it was gonna be possible. I had no idea how to do it, no idea how to like to talk to people. So out of high school, I just started handing out resumes for like a year and a half. Like just kept going out. And then the first shop that I worked at, I think I went to them like 4 times.
Oh, really?
And the time that I went in there to like, I think I went in there to buy jewelry or some shit. And I was just like, oh, by any chance, like, are you guys taking apprenticeships? And the one guy was just like, I mean, he's like, yeah, man, I've seen you here like a bunch of times asking, like, just give me a second. So he went back to pull the boss out, and then he was like, put a portfolio together, like a bunch of drawings, bring it back next week, and we'll talk about it. And then that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you were like pretty like relentless of like,
Oh yeah,
I have to do this.
I wanted to do it so bad.
Yeah.
And it took like a year and a half. Yeah. So in like that prior time, like I had another job, and that's the only other like job that I've ever had aside from tattooing. Yeah.
So is that still the same shop that you work at?
No.
right now?
That was like 4 shops ago or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like where Jay works now.
At Scythe?
At Scythe, there used to be another shop there. Same building.
okay.
Yeah.
Same building.
Same. Yeah.
Wow.
So every time I go in there, I'm like, fuck this place.
Not fuck Scythe, but just the building.
Yeah, Scythe is sick.
Yeah. And like since you brought up Jay, like you guys like have like were you guys kind of like tattoo like brothers growing up? And
Jay will probably kill me for saying this, but Jay was a piercer first.
oh
Yeah, Jay. Yeah, no, but he wanted to tattoo.
Right.
Like that was his main goal. Like,
Yeah.
I'll get in my foot in the door is the best way I possibly can.
right.
So he was at another shop, and we and he had a tattoo apprenticeship, and we pulled him over, and they're like, well, we need a piercer too. So Jay learned how to pierce, and then that was kind of like his way of being like, yo, fuck this, I'm going into tattooing, and then that's
But at least maybe just get his foot in the door.
exactly. That's all it takes. Jay couldn't have cared less about piercing. I mean, he did the job.
Right.
He did the job.
Yeah.
But he was just like, I'm just here to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys worked together for a bit.
We worked for like a year. Yeah. And then actually maybe a little bit longer, because he left that shop that we worked at, and I think I was at Rainfest, and he was like, yo, I just left the shop, like I quit. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Because like at that time we had been thinking about quitting, just because like we just weren't happy.
Right.
And then I went to the next shop that he went to like right after, just like the next week.
Right.
Yeah. Just packed up and see you
Just
later.
a band
Bye.
of brothers.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And then then we just kind of went to different shops after that.
Yeah. So that's pretty funny how like you started kind of doing that process, and now you guys are kind of like working very closely together on the fest.
Yeah.
Can't like get away from one
Yeah.
another.
Like I think Jay and I were prior to last year, I think Jay and I were just hanging out, and he was just like, oh, like how would you guys feel about like another person being like a part of it? And I was like, I mean, the more the merrier. Right. I mean, if you know somebody somewhere that can, hook us up with a band or something like that, a little bit helps. And then, having Jay along it's sick.
Yeah. He was it was pretty funny, like he would just like run into me in between bands, and he's just like, yeah, I don't really know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
That was his first year being
Yeah. Even I was just kind of like that because prior years, just like hang out, stuff like that. But this year or like last year, and we're just kind of like, what the fuck do we do? I'm just making sure that nobody's, doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, or just being like behaving, but at the same time, I don't want everybody to like think that they're in church. Like have fun. It's a fucking show.
Yeah. But I could definitely tell like from the 2018 to 2019 changeover, like there was so much more like just everything felt more cohesive and put together. So,
we all sat down and we're like, okay, like what can we do? Like, like I said, bringing in the curtains and stuff like that, and just stuff like that. Let's make this more of like and that's all spread out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I think we're getting to that point where we could start to wrap up the show. One thing that I like to end every episode with is like a favorite mosh story or something that you have. But I'm gonna make this a two-parter because we were talking before we were recording that Adam was someone that he was chatting about, and I asked him while we were going through edits of like anything I should ask you, and he gave me a couple questions. So
Adam said this?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
So we'll do this first thing, but then we'll do like a pick your own adventure kind of question. So yeah, the first being if there's like your favorite mosh story, as far as, because I can always remember like certain moments in hardcore where I see something, whether it's like wholesome or just absolutely ignorant, I'm like, man, I love this music.
Yeah.
So is there anything that comes off the top of your head?
I mean, like, I've never been the biggest fan of kind of like youth crew and stuff like that. Like I appreciate it, but like when I saw Judge play for the first time, I was just like, this is insane. Like, and that kind of drove me to listening to more bands like that. And like when I saw like Slapshot and like seeing like how those bands have like, paved the way for so many bands. Prior to that, I was just like, yeah, whatever. But when I saw them, I was just like, this is insane. Yeah. And then now I love that kind of shit. Yeah. But
when did you see Judge play? Was it here in Calgary?
No, it was the year they played, the first time when they got back together at This Is Hardcore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I remember just being like kind of like on the rafters at in like a This Is Hardcore, so I could kind of see the whole thing, because I like at the time, like I didn't really know much about Judge,
right?
But I was just like, holy shit, like this is insane.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And that was probably like the thing I was just like, I'm so glad I'm here right now.
Yeah. Just seeing everyone just like going insane.
Yeah, like 2,000 people like just screaming the lyrics. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, you can't like replicate that energy.
So yeah, like you could take anybody from any genre and then bring them in that room to watch that, and they would have all said the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
It was insane.
Sweet. So I don't know how I should do this. Should I show you the three? So he was like, he gave me three things. So I don't know if I should show you or should you just pick a number. What do you want to do?
And between 1 and 3?
Yeah.
Let's do 3.
3? Oh man, that's like the safest one.
Oh fuck.
Okay, but well, I'll do it, and then if you want to,
okay.
If you want to kick down the rest of the doors, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So the third question he told me to ask was about eating nothing but apple slices for an entire tour.
Okay, so I don't think I've ever eaten apple slices on tour. That all started because being on tour, like I try not to eat junk food. Like from gas station to gas station, you can only get so much. But if we have any opportunity to get like going to a grocery store, I'm picking up like kiwis and fucking bananas and like all that shit. And Adam's picking up mac and cheese and ravioli or something like that. So
Chef Boyardee.
And he's just like,
Chef Boyardee Dyson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just some greasy road food, and I'm just like in the back eating, tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes, and so you're just like, oh, do you like your apples with like caramel and stuff like that? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So that story specifically when you were on tour with Withdrawal.
Yeah, that's a Withdrawal shit. Yeah.
Cool.
And like that's carried on for so much now. Like, like all my homies know about apple slices and stuff like that. Like I think we were at This Is Hardcore one year, and Braden was looking for me, and he asked Adam. He was like, "Where's Cody?" He's like, "I don't know, probably out back looking in a fucking apple orchard for apple slices or something like that." Yeah, so just like it's so ridiculous. Yeah,
something you can't live down.
It'll never go anywhere. It's like shades.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's something that he said on the episode. He was like the air of the shades of the blades.
Air of the shades of the blades. Yeah, and the shades is just kind of like that came along so stupid. Like shades, we would just pretend to like give each other shades. Like if you're like fucking up or you did something stupid.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what that.
Like you would put shades on someone, or you would like do that.
We would just be like, buddy, you're fucking up. Like as if you would take your glasses off.
Like, are you for real?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's where that all started. And like that took off too. Like I remember playing a show in Winnipeg with Comeback Kid. That their 10-year
10 it around.
Yeah, that show. And like people were throwing fucking sunglasses on stage. And I was like, I remember I was playing and he like picks up sunglasses. He's like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh man. That was well before I was filming shows.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was close enough to actually see that, but B, I wish I could go back in time and film all these sunglasses.
Oh yeah. Like as a joke, because we had like live by the shades, die by the blades.
Yeah.
And then there was we could I think WITHDRAWAL was gonna call their record live in the shadows, die by the sword. Just stuff like so stupid.
Yeah, because I actually remember I think it was that Meantime show that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
There's a section where I think you like grabbed the shades off of Wolfgang and then you moshed with them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there needs it's come full circle to like actually know the backstory behind.
So that's
shades.
That's what shades is. Yeah. If somebody's giving you shades or just says it, it's like you fucked up.
Yeah. So do you want to tackle these other?
Yeah, I'll
two?
tackle the other ones.
Okay. Well, you pick first because one's like.
Let's do one.
Okay. About being chased out of a Long Island hotel by a pimp.
Oh fuck. Okay, I'll try and tell this story as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So we played a show and we didn't ask anybody if we could crash at their place. Like we didn't know anybody. So
what year was this?
This was 2012 or 13.
Okay.
And we were like, oh shit, like let's just look in the phone book. And we picked up a place and we got there. So there was me, Jay, Dirty Mike, Joel, and Adam. Adam was sick. I think Adam's. That's why like I eat well on tour so I don't get fucking sick.
Yeah.
Adam's in the back just dying, and so Joel and Mike went in, be like, hey, can we get a room? There's like just 4 of us. Adam was gonna sleep in the van. He's like, we'll be out by like 7 a.m. We have $100, like take it or leave it, right? So Joel and Mike went in. When they started going to the room, they're like, yo, come with us. We went in the room. The guy at the front counter was just like, well, here it is. And we walked in, we're like, what the fuck is this? Like the ground was like, it was like this thin carpet stuff. And the walls were like mustard yellow. And at first thing we're doing, it's like, okay, let's check for bed bugs.
Yeah.
So we flipped the sheet, or like we pulled the sheets over and we saw like this big brown stain on the mattress. And I'm like, no fucking way. So I flipped it and it was even worse on the other side.
Oh no.
So we're like, okay, fuck this. Let's just get our money back and let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And then, so me and Jay went back to the van, and that was the only thing that was like wrong with the room. Like just like if you took the sheets off a bed and just like put them across, right?
Yeah.
And then so Joel and Mike went back, be like, hey man, we just want our money back. We're gonna get out of here. And he's like, what are you talking about? And we're like, oh, we're just not happy with the room. And then so the guy's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So he went to the room and he's like, look at all this mess you guys caused me. Or like, look at this. He's gonna I have to bring in a maid. It's going to cost me over $100 to fix this. We're like, what are you talking about? We were in there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they go back to like the front desk room and we could see them. They're like maybe 20 feet away from us. And there's like a glass window. We can't obviously hear them, but we could see like fingers pointing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Buddy get on his phone. And I thought somebody was calling for like a room or something. And next thing you know, Joel and Mike are like out the door and they're like, you fuck you greasy pimp piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because like they shot at like guys like, oh, I'm taking your money. I think he gave us back like $80 or something like that. Yeah. And as soon as Joel said that, Buddy went around so there was a door that he had to go through and then he would kind of like reach to the front counter.
Yeah.
And as soon as Joel said that, Buddy started rolling around and I was like, Joel, Mike, he's coming. Let's go. And as soon as like, it was like the classic van door opens, they jump in and we take off. We're like hopping over curbs and Buddy's got like I don't know, it just looks sketchy. Like his hands like in his back, like he was gonna pull out something, but we're just like hopping over shit.
Yeah.
And we're driving down the road, and I'm like, this guy's gonna call the cops and saying like we robbed him or something. And we're just like driving down the road, and I see a cop like pass us, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and then I see it do a U-turn. I'm like, no fucking way.
Oh no.
So lights go on.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the front seat with Jay. And yeah, guy's like, can I see your license and registration? Jay gives it to him. He's like, yeah, your front headlight's out. And we're like, holy shit. Yeah. So I think we drove to like New Jersey right after that. And Mike went into a Sheraton hotel, told him the story. And they're like, oh, we'll give you like a deal.
Yeah.
We're like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very different depending where you go.
But yeah, just like they were writing down information because Mike had to give him like passports and stuff like that.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Joel wrote down like Wayne Gretzky Avenue, like just a bunch of fake bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Sweet. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up unless there's anything else that you want to touch on.
No,
No?
I think of,
You feel like we covered all the bases?
yeah, like I think it's like fest, serration,
Yeah.
maybe mortality rate. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was like a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So definitely check out Cody's tattooing, Serration, Mortality Rate, Wild Rose Hardcore Fest, April 25th, 26th. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's about it. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
And taking time out of your day.
Hell yeah.